I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 62 of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And I'm Gabe. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Tired? I guess
Perfect.
that's my catchphrase. But I'm fine.
The show doesn't start till you say it.
Yeah. It's in my contract.
Mm-hmm. You have a contract?
I wrote
you
it
making
and
money?
signed it myself. Yeah. It's terrible. It's got terrible conditions.
Okay.
But no, I'm good. I didn't get a lot of time to watch a lot of things, so I shoved it in at the last possible moment once again because I have terrible time management.
Okay. So how many things do you have?
I still have 2 things.
Okay.
You?
See, I have a lot of things.
Interesting. Okay.
And I don't know, I'm on a roll lately. I've been on a roll. Like there's a couple of really interesting things coming out, or not even like new things, but like new-ish things that I'm now catching up on or whatever. But I'm contemplating like saving some of the picks for next week, depending on what you're going to pick. I
Fair
have
enough.
one thing that I feel like might be your pick. And if it isn't, I'm going to save it for next week. I'm going to try and stay vague here.
Oh, that's okay.
I have a pretty good guess as to what your pick is going to be.
Well, the thing is, I watched one thing to have a pick, and then like last minute, I thought, right, I should pick something else just in case you also have just one thing or whatever. But I don't think that either my main pick or my honorable mention are going to be on your list. As well, it's so hard to know what you're going to pick, but
Right.
these seem like 2 things that you probably know of, but haven't seen.
Okay.
I'm going to guess, but who the fuck knows?
I feel like I know exactly what your 2 things are going to be.
Interesting. Okay.
We'll see. It's that little game we play with our against each other every week, like trying to guess what the other person's going to pick.
Yeah, but you're so unpredictable. Like the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Which is good, but
Yeah. We'll see if I'm right. I don't know if you have any guesses as to what my picks are going to be.
No fucking idea. There's
Okay.
like one thing I thought you might have seen, but I doubt that it's gonna be your pick. But who knows?
Yeah. There's one thing that I wanted to talk about from last week's episode where we had Cajillionaire, and I know this much is true, and we had
Yeah.
issues with trailers, obviously, and
Mhm.
unfortunately we didn't include either one. I looked up like afterwards, because we do have access to, I think it was Universal you said Cajillionaire was, right?
I think so, yeah.
And I logged into the Universal press kit server for the first time in months, really.
Mhm.
And it turns out there was like unlimited Cajillionaire material there, but all of it was, of course, in German.
Okay.
Yeah, so the struggle continues, and we'll have the same issue. It depends on your pick this week. I feel like I know your pick, and we're gonna have an issue with that pick. But
Well, then I don't think you know my pick,
I do
because I think I'm pretty
though.
safe.
I'm pretty certain you're not.
All right. All right.
We'll see. But yeah, unfortunately, like as I mentioned before, a lot of the things that we got access to is just the German material.
Mhm.
But yeah, we'll step by step. But please, Gabe, tell everyone how this regular show works, and then we'll dive into it because we have a lot to discuss this week.
Yeah. All right. So after our usual banter and small talk,
Yeah. How do you think it went this week? Was it good?
pretty good, pretty charming, I think.
Yeah. I feel like
I'd give it like a 4 out of 5.
I thought you said 4 out of 10. That's not pretty good. I feel like we just got straight into the movie talk. There's no like real life banter, which I'm fine with.
I mean, I don't know what's going on in your life.
No, it's too late.
Something you want to talk about?
No.
I made some pretty good Japanese curry like yesterday.
Does your kitchen look like shit?
No, it looked like shit, but
Thought we
a
stay on
friend of
brand.
mine was nice enough to clean up my place.
What friends do you have?
The best kind.
Okay. Interesting. Right, so
Anyway, So this is another regular episode where we talk about the best thing that we've seen all week. Anything from a TV show to a movie to even a YouTube video. And we are going to start off with a couple of honorable mentions, and then we're going to get to our pick of the best thing that we've seen, preferably something new, so something that came out in the last 6 months or so. And yeah, as always, we have no idea what the other person's picks are going to be. And this is especially true the last couple of weeks where Flo has surprised me immensely. But yeah, we'll see what's going to come this week.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. As I said before, I've watched a lot of good things recently. And, I'm excited to see if you... I don't think you have seen... I don't know. We'll see. I think you've seen one of the things that I'll talk about. But let's go, yeah?
All right.
I'll just really chuck out 2 honorables really quickly.
Yeah, please do.
One is... I don't know if you've heard of this. It's called Last One Laughing. It's on Prime.
Don't think so.
So this is based on I think it's based on an Australian version of the show with Rebel Wilson as the host. But there's now a German version out with Bully Herbig as the host. Now, I like him. I really do. And he's not playing a character or anything. He's literally just the host. And it's about, I don't know how many German comedians are all in one big room for 6 hours and they're not allowed to laugh or even smile. And they're trying to make each other laugh or smile. And if they do it twice, then they're out. So it's a reality show kind of thing for 6 hours. It's like in multiple episodes, and it's on Prime now. And
Is
I started watching.
Original? Sorry.
Yeah. No. Sorry. What was that?
As an original or to rent?
No. It's included. It's an original included. Okay. Yeah. And I think, as I said, I think it's based on the Australian version. Mm-hmm. Maybe there are other countries that did it before that. I'm not sure. But I just started watching it because I do know almost all of the comedians and from like panel shows that I watched over like years and years ago. And I am a fan of Bully Herbig, and it's just what's funny about the show is everyone laughing at the other. Like as soon as they're out, they're like sitting in the same room with Bully and just laughing about everything that's happening. And it's sort of that's the funny thing. They keep cutting to them whilst everyone is trying not to laugh, and then they just cut to the host, and they're just like crying from laughter, and it's just. That's funnier than the skits they're doing. It's just seeing other people laugh. That's just funny, and it's a good show. I mean, I'm enjoying it. Next week is the finale, and I'm not like interested in who's gonna win. It's just like I'll definitely watch it though because it is entertaining, and it's like 30-minute episodes, and it's really just shut your brain off and have a good time.
Interesting. I think I would have found it more interesting if you said it's an UK remake. Because I think I just know way more English or American comedians than I do German ones, which, well, I'm not from Germany, but still that's kind of weird, I guess. But
no, I agree. It'd be nice to see them in other countries too. But I mean, they're good. They're good. They're good.
Yeah,
some are better than others. Some are like some of the jokes they're trying to, or some of the skits they're trying to perform really don't work for me at all. Mm-hmm. But then again, if you like sit in front of it and you're trying not to laugh, you're ultimately going to laugh, of course. If you're not allowed to laugh, you're going to laugh. Makes it that much more difficult, and it's fun to sort of play along.
Interesting. What's it called again? Or what's the German title?
It is Last One Laughing. So
okay.
it's like LOL, laugh out loud, but Last One Laughing. Yeah. It's really fun. And second honorable is something that in any other week, or maybe even now this could easily be a pick for me because it might be the best thing I've seen, but there's no way of like including something as like a trailer or a clip because it is a YouTube video and we haven't really had that before where it's like I can't like contact them directly because they have millions of subscribers telling them, hey, could we use this and this? They don't really have a press outlet. Mm-hmm. So this came out today when we're recording this, and I just saw it in the morning, and I just absolutely love it. It's a guy called Marcus Veltri. He's a musician. He's playing piano, and he always does like these Omegle videos where he has perfect pitch, and he's just asking for people to tell them a song, and he just plays it perfectly.
Okay.
And he's also great at beatboxing, so he's just really an unbelievable musician. And he did like a collaboration today with a rapper called Harry Mack. And there's 2 videos, like one on each of their channels. And it's them just, like it's Harry Mack freestyling over something that Marcus Veltri plays on piano. And they just ask the audience or the guys that they match with to sort of throw words out, and he's going to incorporate them in the rap. And those are like 20 to 30 minute videos. It's just unreal. It is so good. I'm not like a huge hip hop fan or rap fan or whatever, but it's undeniably impressive and great what he's coming up with in milliseconds. It's really cool to see the reactions of the people that they do it with. It's insane.
Harry Mack, that name feels kind of familiar.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Did he do any like Hot Ones interviews, or did he do anything big or in big songs that I could know him
has
from?
like
Because
almost 1 million subscribers. You might have.
Oh,
I think he had some viral videos too, so I'm sure you could have seen him somewhere.
maybe, yeah.
I don't think he was on Hot Ones, but maybe.
Okay. Are any of these like things that you considered waiting for next week, or are you gonna throw them all out now?
No.
No, just interested.
No. The one I'm saving, I won't mention till you do your pick.
Gotcha. Got it.
So these are literally just 2 things that I watched that were really entertaining. And like, once again, the Veltri and Mac collaboration could easily be a pick of the week. But then again, I actually found something that with great effort, I actually got access to the trailer too. So I'm going to pick that as my pick of the week. It's a more like, standard like show or movie kind of pick,
Mm-hmm.
But what about you? Have you got any honorables?
Yeah, I got one movie because I had trouble choosing my pick because it's not finished. A little teaser for later. It's an unfinished show. My pick.
Okay, sorry.
But I also watched a movie, so I was like, should I pick the movie or the show? But I enjoyed the show more, but it's not finished. But then I thought, like, by the time it's finished, I don't know. I maybe have another better pick, whatever. So I have the movie as my honorable mention, which is Save Yourselves, a movie that you can rent on Amazon Prime.
I'm still processing what you're saying. Is your pick going to be something that we've already talked about?
It's not, no.
Okay, thank you. I thought it was The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I was like, I thought we were going to talk about that next week.
There, I'm going to wait, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
but no,
sorry.
But yeah, I watched Save Yourself, which is, like I said, a movie you can rent on Amazon Prime, and I had very little knowledge of this movie, like at all. But, it came out in the last 6 months, and I was looking for something because I tried to follow your example the last couple of weeks, which is find fucking obscure things on Prime, which I didn't even know came out in the last 6 months.
Okay.
And pick that, and this kind of stood out to me, and it's... Have you even heard of this movie?
I've not heard of this.
Okay, because it seems like a small indie film from the scope and how it's made, I suppose it is. And it mainly stars just 2 people who are in a relationship in New York, and it starts off with like the title card, like, this is the end of the world, this is the last day on Earth, etc., something like that. And then it just shows them living a normal life in New York, a couple of maybe hipsters a bit, and they notice how obsessed they are with their phone, so they decide to take the chance to take 1 week off from all electronics and live out in a cabin for 1 week and just enjoy themselves, to kind of get away from the world, which is the exact time frame from when aliens invade the Earth, so they kind of miss that, and kind of late to the party, and then at one point finally turning on their phones and seeing all the fucking messages that they've gotten, and then trying to, cope with that. And it's a fun movie, to be honest. The ratings aren't that great, and I think that's kind of due to the ending, which is a bit sudden and a bit cryptic, I guess. But
okay.
Having read up on it, I think it's an interesting choice, but it's just so well made from like a camera point of view, because having rewatched a couple of videos by Every Frame a Painting, who has done a video on, for example, Memories of a Murder, where he talks about how to frame shots with multiple people in it.
Right.
And I've noticed that now, how many shots there were in this movie where they were both in the same frame. There are not that many like shot reverse shots, which made it way more interesting to look at. And yeah, I think it's pretty well made, and making this a indie movie is just perfect, because so many times they're like looking at their phones and looking at fucking finally realizing what's going on, but you don't see anything of like the big invasion. You just see it from their point of view, having not really been there for like the big end of the world thing, which is just, I think it's just a great idea.
It sounds interesting, yeah. But I mean, you said it has bad ratings, like a 5.8. I know I think it was The Empty Man or whatever that had like worse ratings. But so what like you think is it really good or is it just average?
I think it's a fine movie. I think it's not for everyone just because it's
Does it star anyone?
Smaller. It's on a smaller scale. It does star one actress whose name I've forgotten, of course, but I'm gonna look her up real fast. Who plays one of the leading roles. And the thing is, she was in a big Netflix show that came out a couple of months ago. What's her name again? Dude, I'm so bad at this.
I'm on the site now.
Yeah, please.
Amy Sedaris. We talked about her before.
Have we?
Yeah.
In what context?
I know that I mentioned that she's the principal of Tanner Hall.
Right.
But there was a reason why I mentioned that, and I forgot that reason.
But no, it's Sunita Mani. Sorry, she wasn't in that show. She was, sorry, I mixed her up. No, she's in Glow, the other Netflix show, which is starring Alison Brie and Mark Maron.
Right.
Many other famous people. And she's pretty good there, and it's cool to see her in something else. And yeah, she's
interesting.
But I don't think I recognized any other actors in this movie. But like I said, it's very small scale. There are very few other actors in there.
Yeah. Interesting pick.
Yeah. But it's only a honorable.
Right.
But I think could have made my pick in a slower week. I mean, it wasn't that like
slower week. So was this the one that you watched today? Or you said you watched like all of the things today or yesterday? Or what was it?
The other thing I finished yesterday, just in time for when we planned to originally record this episode. And then we postponed it by one day. And then I thought like, all right, perfect. This gives me time to watch the second thing.
But you just said you finished it. I thought it was something that isn't finished.
I got up to date.
Okay, right. I know exactly what your pick is going to be.
Okay.
And that is what I was going to save. But we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
So my pick of the week is, it's another HBO thing.
Okay. Wow.
But this time, I gained access to the trailer, which is a little step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because obviously that didn't work with I Know This Much Is True. But my pick of the week is The Undoing. Now, this is just going right. It follows the path of my couple of the last couple of weeks of watching things that are just great. Things that I wanted to watch and things that I'm now catching up on, and they're great. Have you heard of The Undoing?
No idea.
Hugh Grant and Nicole Kidman.
I talked about Hugh Grant just yesterday and how little I've seen of him lately. Yeah, interesting. No idea.
What was that? Who did you talk about that with? I thought about like suggesting a special on Hugh Grant.
Yeah?
Yeah. Who did you talk about with?
Stephen, and then he also suggested that we do one on Hugh Grant. I think it was.
Well, there you fucking go. It's beautiful.
Interesting. Undoing?
The Undoing, yeah.
Huh.
A great little miniseries starring Hugh Grant and Nicole Kidman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to stop saying like that this show has a great cast because apparently nowadays every show has a phenomenal cast. It really seems that way.
Of course.
No? Like Donald Sutherland is in this. The great legendary Donald Sutherland. Noah Jupe, who was in Ford vs. Ferrari, The Kid, or Suburbicon, or what was he in? He's like in Wonder. The guy who's just like the next big kid actor.
Apparently he's also in Honey Boy.
Honey Boy, right?
Oh, of course, yeah, he plays the main guy.
Yeah. Apparently he's in it. I still haven't seen it, but you talked about it.
I just looking at his profile picture on IMDb, I do not recognize him.
Wow.
Interesting, okay.
But he was in a lot of things that you saw, I know. Obviously, Ford vs. Ferrari. What else? What am I missing?
Quiet Place.
Wonder. Yes. Yeah. Great actor, I feel. And got a big career ahead of him. That's just my prediction. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, The Undoing is a nice little crime, sort of whodunit murder mystery. And I have my issues with it, but then again, it was just a really, really interesting and captivating watch. It's only got 6 episodes of like an hour each. It's directed by Susanne Bier. Now, Susanne Bier, that's a name that I know you're familiar with. A director that we're both fans of. Obviously, I think you talked about After the Wedding, right? You liked that movie, didn't you?
I did with you, but I don't think ever on the podcast.
No, not on the podcast. No, okay. Just yeah.
Yeah, I loved that movie.
Yeah, and she recently did Bird Box with Sandra Bullock.
Completely forgot that was by her. Yeah,
a really great Danish director, and The Undoing is written by David E. Kelly. And David E. Kelly is sort of one of the household producer show creators out there. Because he did like Big Little Lies with Nicole Kidman and Boston Legal and so many other shows. Like he's really a household name when it comes to like creating hit shows. And he wrote The Undoing. So it's like a stellar cast and just great filmmakers behind it too. And it is about Nicole Kidman and Hugh Grant are a couple, and Noah Jupe is their son. And in the first episode, a brutal murder happens. And it's really just about figuring out who the hell did it. And before I dive into it, let's run a little clip of it.
Have always seen things so clearly. How can you not see this now?
Did you think that he was capable of committing such mayhem?
You need to stay away from my wife.
Your daughter is hiding something.
Many law-abiding, high-functioning people have the capacity to snap.
You think you can handle everything? This is bigger than you.
Exactly how weak do you think I am?
All right. What's interesting about this show is it's got like a lot of. On one hand, you have your own like thoughts as to who did it, and it's like you can look at it and think just like, there's no other way. This is like the easiest murder mystery ever. It's that person. But throughout the 6 episodes, you start to question every single person. Like you're literally going like, okay, it's Grant, it's Kidman, it's Jupe, it's Sutherland, it's the friend, it's the police guy. You know,
it's Jupe, that fucking kid.
Yeah, you don't know. No, but it's literally like you start to question everyone, and then the show really plays with that as well. But there's one, like, I'm obviously always spoiler free and I'm trying to stay vague. But what was, on one hand, infuriating and on the other hand, therefore kind of cool, is that it sort of suggests things for you and it leaves them open, and it's never mentioned again, right? It's like, there's like a little sentence thrown out there that makes you think, okay, well, that's going to come back later in the show, surely. And then it doesn't. So it's like, okay, interesting. Is the writer, are they just like playing with the audience here? Are they trying to lead us down this one path that's then never really talked about again? Which apparently is the case. But then I saw videos on it after I finished it. It's like people wanted to change the ending and sort of wanted them to delve deeper into those strings that they laid. Like, that's not a real sentence. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't. They went down a very, I would say, mostly unsatisfying path, which, as I said before, it's then in some weird and twisted way kind of cool again, because you thought of so many different other outcomes, but then it's just like, no, it's that. And you're like, okay, well, I guess it's kind of cool. It's interesting, you know, it plays with the audience. I think it also, like, as I mentioned before last week on, I know this much is true. It kind of respects the audience in that sense. It sort of hopes that they are intelligent enough to sort of to sort of see these little clues and to follow them along, even though they don't really lead to anything. It's interesting. Hugh Grant is fantastic in this. A really like a side of his that I've never seen before. And it's some of the best work I've seen him in recently. I mean, he obviously, what's the funny thing is that Nicole Kidman was the villain in Paddington 1. Hugh Grant is the villain in Paddington 2. And every single person that I know who has seen Paddington adores Paddington. And that's for a reason. It's one of the best animated movies. I actually prefer the first one, but I've seen people like talk about the second one as if it's an absolute masterpiece. And then I saw interviews where Hugh Grant was like suggesting to the director, like calling out that connection of them both having been in that franchise, and he just wanted some scenes with there's a little Paddington bear just in the background, which has no place in this really rather dark show. But it's funny that he sort of wanted to include it. Maybe he was joking. Of course, he was obviously joking, but
who knows? Maybe there's like this very small Easter egg hidden somewhere.
Apparently not. According to him, he wanted them to do that, but it didn't happen.
Anybody eat a jam sandwich? Isn't that like
Have you seen it since Paddington?
I've seen the first one.
Okay.
I haven't seen the second one.
Yeah. I remember that when I think the trailer for the second one came out, I was like, I'm excited for this. And you were like, I have no interest in this at all.
I didn't know it was that well loved. It seems like a very classic kids movie that is great for kids, but for no one else above the age of, I don't know, 15.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was wrong. It was a very enjoyable movie.
Yeah. I think you would enjoy the second one as well. So yeah, it's called The Undoing. Is it the best show ever? Is it the best murder mystery ever? Is it like are you going to be, at the end, are you going to be like, fuck, I did not expect that? No. Is it a really, really solid whodunit though? And it's like really engaging. It got me hooked. And that's sort of one of the best things I can say about it. It just sunk its teeth right in me. And Kidman is always great. She's always good. And I love the way that I heard her talk about this too. She just loves a good thriller, and she's doing a lot of them. Obviously, Big Little Lies is a great watch if you haven't seen it. And
yeah, I still have to watch that.
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And one last guy who's in it is Edgar Ramirez, who I think we talked about before. He's I think you mentioned him, didn't you?
Did I?
He was in Joy. The guy was in the basement.
All right.
Right?
All right. Did we have a Jennifer Lawrence special? I think so.
I don't think we did.
I already forgot. We've had so many specials by now, like 12.
Well, you can sort of, I think I'm able to recite this. There's not been too many now.
Yeah. Oh, no, because we talked about American Hustle, but I think it was on another special. The Bradley Cooper special. That was it.
Could be.
Christ.
But sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I just want to say, yeah, Nicole Kidman is also like a classic pick for maybe one of our specials, because she has done a lot of good things.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just her performance in Lion, which was, I think, the last recent thing that I've seen of hers.
Interesting. Well, no, you saw Destroyer.
Of course, which is also that could be like a hidden gem, I guess, because I don't know anybody who has heard of this film, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I like Destroyer.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have heard of it, but I would agree that it's not a mainstream movie.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say about The Undoing, which actually surprised me, it is kind of also a courtroom drama. And you know me, I love a good courtroom drama. So, it ticked a lot of boxes for me.
I talked about this with my brother a couple of times now, that we're both, or especially he's like always looking for a good whodunit, because there's so few classic movies coming out lately in that genre. So he was already looking forward so much to Knives Out, and I'm sure he's excited now that the new ones are announced. But I don't know, it seems like more of a genre of like the 70s, 80s maybe, like, or 60s even, with like the classics such as like Clue or Murder by Death, or Death by Murder. No, Murder by Death. Which is just a great fucking comedy starring Peter Sellers and Peter Falk, who is of course Columbo.
But the examples you just made, they're more like spoofs of the genre.
Clue isn't, right?
Well, Clue is I would say, well, okay. I think it is. It is. It's not really a straightforward whodunit. It's sort of a very over-the-top comedic version of that genre, which is also great, but
But yeah, it's still like a genre that I see very rarely. I mean, there's been like the remake of Murder on the Orient Express, which is supposedly terrible, and I still have the book at home, so I don't want to watch the movie.
It's
I
fine.
still haven't gotten around to it. Yeah,
The original is better.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think then your brother would enjoy The Undoing. I think
Yeah.
so. I mean, once
might
again,
drop.
the ending is a bit unsatisfying.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that like it's a bad ending, but it's just like I wished for something a little bit more, even though it is in some ways, if you think about it, kind of a cool ending too. I know it's contradictory what I'm saying, but yeah, watch it. I think you'd understand.
Well, I was kind of interested when you first talked about it, but then when you said that it's got these like leads that don't go anywhere, I hate that when it happens in movies or shows because it just leaves me so unsatisfied.
But the thing is, it's not like main story points that lead to nowhere. It's literally like 2 or 3, and like at the end of a scene, there's like, was there another person? And the person goes like, yeah, there was one other person, but you never. Right, that's it. And it's just that you, as the audience, you start to think like, okay, that other person is going to be important, surely, and that's just not the case. It's not like a huge story plot that just goes on and then leads to nowhere. It's just like a little tiny thing to throw into to sort of throw you off.
Interesting.
It's better than I made it sound.
But sorry, what was like the suspect's connection to the guy who got murdered? Who's like, what's even the reason for the whole family to be suspects?
I don't know if I want to give that away.
Okay.
Even though it is sort of the first episode, but someone that this family knows gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's, I mean, I can say this without giving away anything. Hugh Grant is the main suspect.
Okay.
And that just sort of makes their whole life, like, obviously, it all goes to shit. Basically, their whole life is turned upside down because of, because they're quite wealthy and also like somewhat well known, and it's obviously like a big media thing then too, and it's sort of them trying to handle it. In some ways, it reminded me of Defending Jacob. Not that it's got anything to do with the kid, but just like the family that sort of deals with this little small. There's a murder in a small-ish community, and that just sort of gets blown up. Yeah, it reminded me of that in a way.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, once again, something that I didn't see coming at all.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your pick. Yeah. I would have saved this, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, but I thought first thought that I had something for next week probably, and then it's going to be the special because next week we're of course going to talk about probably the Falcon, the Winter Soldier, and then we got the special, and then I don't know. I thought, fuck it, why not do it now?
No, absolutely. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that we needed to wait until the show is over. I just meant that I have watched so many things this week, and maybe I could take it slow next week and just save that for next week. But if you have it,
sorry.
then no. I didn't mean it that way.
But yeah, I guess you already figured it out. But anybody who didn't, because I don't know how you would. It's Invincible, the new Amazon Prime original show, and I'm about to lose my voice, and I don't know why. Give me a second. Sip of water.
It just ticks off the boxes. Every episode it's got to have you saying you're tired. You got to lose your voice once.
At least.
I got to start a sentence that I have nowhere where it's going to end up. And I just got to keep going. Just keep pushing through.
Those are all my sentences.
Yes.
All right. I'm back, I think. But yeah, it's the new Prime original show, which I bet is the thing you guessed.
Yes, and I've only seen 1.5 episodes. So that was also a reason why I was like, if I'm saving this for next week, I have time to watch more. But please, it's a great show. Dive into it.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, having watched the first episode, you know that it's more than one would expect, because when you start the show, it says it's PG-16. Oh, it's for age 16s and up, at least in all countries. So it's probably R-rated everywhere else, or whatever rating they have. And it starts off quite mild, and I just thought to myself, what's going on? There's maybe one asshole in there, like the word, but then as the show goes on, they kind of stop pulling punches and you see how far it goes. And it kind of reminded me of The Boys or even Watchmen in that aspect of more of a gritty view on the whole superheroes genre, since it's, of course, about superheroes and it's got like kind of a league, of course, similar to the Justice League or whatever, and it's about a young boy whose father is the equivalent to Superman, who's looking forward to finally gaining powers himself, since of course his father has them, and finally gets them and wants to be a superhero as well, but then kind of realizes how fucked up it can be to be a superhero, how hard it is, what decisions you have to make. And there are only 6 episodes out now. 2 more are coming, as far as I'm aware. I would bet there's going to be a second season, but I think when it dropped in late March, they dropped 3 episodes at once and then 1 episode a week. So it's going to conclude in 2 weeks' time. And yeah, it's just such an interesting take. And the interesting thing, of course, is as well that it's by Robert Kirkman, the creator of The Walking Dead, which I never would have guessed.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, he's a comic man. The Walking Dead, of course, was a comic as well.
Yeah. I mean, you know me, I'm not an animated guy.
Yeah.
I'm not an animated guy. I'm a very subdued person. No, I'm not that into animated shows, but I stumbled upon this on the homepage of Prime. I had not heard of this at all until like a week ago, or 2 weeks ago. I don't know. But I clicked on it and I immediately saw the ratings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got like an 8.8 on IMDb. And for me, I've seen enough. That's reason enough for me to check it out. And I agree with you. I mean, I think it actually is like 18 rated on Prime. And I was confused as to why for the first 40 minutes of episode 1. And I started watching it and I was like, yeah, okay, this is just, I'm not going to watch this after episode 1. But then the last, 5 or 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit. And in the best way possible.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now this is really fucking good now.
Yeah, it's something else. And one thing that I can say, it gets more intense with pretty much each episode, because you think like, all right, they got a limit on what they're willing to do, right, with this show. And then something really fucked up happens once again. I'm like, shit, man, I wonder how they're going to top that in the next episode.
Yeah.
And one thing that's very weird about the show is the title card drop.
Yep, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's so weird because the main character who kind of tries to find his identity as a superhero decides on the name Invincible, which is of course the show's name. And then once or twice an episode, somebody says a sentence with the word Invincible in it, and instead of saying the word, it just cuts to the title card real abruptly.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so weird. It's just so jarring, because at first I thought like the video is skipped.
Yeah.
Because it just cuts them off mid-sentence. It's not like they set it up. So and then the title card drops. It's just thrown in there so weirdly. But one thing that I noticed is like there's like blood spattered on the title card.
Yeah.
And it gets more and more with each episode, which is a fun little thing that they do. Yeah. Which kind of also symbolizes how fucked up it gets with each episode.
Yeah. I mean, I knew this was going to be a pick. I mean, I didn't know that. I was sort of, when I stumbled upon this, I was surprised that you hadn't already talked about it, if that makes sense. But then I was like, all right, it's just going to be, I think every week now you're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I thought about watching it last week because that's also when I saw it on like Prime as like on the homepage. Before that, I could have ignored it because it seemed like another generic animated show. It seemed like it's more for kids. I didn't realize it was 18 or 16. But yeah, I thought I'd wait for more episodes to drop, but then I had a bit of trouble finding something for this week, so I thought fuck it. And I'm glad I did. It's so fucking unorthodox.
Yeah. It's got one hell of a cast once again.
Yeah.
Like every show these days has.
It does have one of your favorites, J.K. Simmons, of course, who's done so much voice work. I think I've even talked about that.
I think you said that before, that he's one of my favorites. I have nothing against J.K. Simmons. I would not consider him one of my favorites. I like him a lot. but I wouldn't go that far.
But he's pretty good. But yeah,
he's fantastic, dude. I love him. It's one of my favorites.
But it's got Steven Yeun in the leading role, who we've talked about because of Minari. Once again, Minari is something that, we both want to watch but can't. But it's got Zazie Beetz, I think. Is that how you pronounce her name?
I think it's close enough, yeah.
Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz.
And I have a huge crush on her. I gotta say, she's amazing.
The animated version or the real one?
The real one.
Okay, the real one. She's got one of the most unorthodox, to use that word again, IMDb profile pics I've seen.
I don't know where that's from. Yeah,
I don't know where that's from.
Is it like from a movie or is just for fun?
I have no idea. I don't think I'm not sure if she knows what's going. That's her IMDb profile pic. But
yeah.
I think she's great. Yeah,
but I think there's just also so many. I'm not sure if a lot of what the show does is also like a bit of a satire, a spoof, because most of the superheroes in there have superpowers, like from classic superheroes, because just like the Justice League equivalent also got like a Flash guy, they got like a Batman kind of guy, and I don't know.
I think they're doing it on purpose, of course. Yeah,
probably, yeah. But that kind of brought me to like the classic question: what would you like choose as your superpower if you had a choice?
Oh God. I'm boring and I would just love to fly.
Fair enough. I mean, it seems amazing.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, flying does sound cool, but I think like teleportation or, of course, immortality, dude. But
you would not pick this, would you?
Immortality?
Yeah.
In a heartbeat, dude.
I would not pick this if I get money for it. I wouldn't pick it.
Why?
I've recently discovered
a religion,
like a real store.
Have you heard of our Lord Jesus Christ?
I can't wait to meet him. No, I've recently discovered an artist, a singer-songwriter called Jason Isbell, and he's got a song. I know. I'm wrapping around to the topic. I'm wrapping around to it. He's got a song that's been out for a couple of years now. It's called "If We Were Vampires."
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful song, and it's basically about if we were vampires and lived forever, then I wouldn't really cherish the moments we have with each other. It talks about a love story, and it's just like I wouldn't be holding your hand if we were vampires because we know we have eternity to do that. I wouldn't like cherish each moment, and I feel that way about. I'm getting very profound here, but if I'm immortal, I feel like I would not cherish life to the best of my ability. If I'm like, fuck it, I have another couple of 100,000 years to get it right.
Yeah, but I guess you also have the freedom of not giving a fuck about, dying. You can smoke, you can do whatever. And you just know there's just fewer consequences in a way.
I feel like that would get boring after a couple of 100 years.
Yeah.
I do.
I mean, I guess. I mean, but there's just so much to life. I mean, you can live like a decade there, like 100 years there. I mean, of course, time does move quite fast, so things change quite a bit. But I mean, just as a guy who, I just hope once again my grandparents aren't listening to this, as an atheist. I just don't believe in the life after death, and just so eternal life does sound kind of good. But then again, if like superpowers exists, who the fuck knows what else exists? So
sure,
yeah. I don't know. I think just also like Wolverine has like one of the coolest powers just because he can fucking smoke and don't get cancer, which is like a dream.
It's a beautiful power. Yeah. That's the dream.
Nice.
You just went from being immortal to not getting lung cancer.
I feel like that's like gonna be my end.
Don't say that.
Yeah. Anyway,
I do have to. Yeah, sorry. Go on.
Yeah, no, sorry.
No, you do it.
Oh, thank you so much. No, because you talked about the song with the vampires. I finally got around to watching What Do We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, dude. Okay.
Finally, and it was great.
Thank God.
I knew it was like some information about the movie, but I didn't know. I forgot that it was made in a mockumentary kind of style, which is just brilliant and really makes me want to see the show now.
Yeah,
which is a very similar cast, right?
I think so. Yeah. I don't think Taika's in it, but Jermaine Clements or whatever his name is. Yeah. But did you love it? I think this is one of the best comedies of the last couple of years. I really do.
I loved it, but I don't think I loved it.
One of my favorite ever movie quotes, and I can now share it with you because
Please.
you know it now and you'll think it's funny. I don't think if anyone listening to this who hasn't seen it is going to find this funny, but there's this one scene. I can't like recite it well enough. That's why I'm saying this. But the one thing, like they ask him like, why do you drink virgin blood?
Mm-hmm.
And Jermaine Clement goes like, I think of it like this. If I eat a sandwich, I'd prefer it if I knew no one had fucked it.
It's one of my favorite
quotes. It's one of my favorite quotes. Just his delivery is just perfect. I think the one guy beforehand goes like, I think we drink virgin blood because it sounds cool.
It's got so many good lines. And I also read like they filmed like hundreds of hours of footage because so much of it is improvised. And I mean, it's also a bit of an indie movie, but the effects are pretty fucking good for that.
Yeah.
I mean, except for the werewolves at times, but
yeah,
it just makes it even funnier.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But to wrap around to Invincible, which I mentioned at the beginning of the show trailer, we don't have it. I'm sorry.
Really?
You would have now forgot about it, and I shouldn't have even mentioned it, right?
Yeah, I always forget about that.
Yeah, and listen, I'm so sorry because this is the steps that I keep mentioning. We seem like we take 2 steps forward with the trailers and then 1 step backwards. All the Amazon Prime trailers are usually on this hub that I keep mentioning.
Right.
This is not the case with Invincible, and now, therefore, I don't know why I haven't done this before, officially requested access on the Amazon Press site directly. They have it.
Right.
So for future uses, we'll have, hopefully if we get accepted, every trailer from Amazon now. But unfortunately for this week, they have not provided the trailer for Invincible. I know it's a fucking shame, dude.
Well, I did watch the trailer and it's pretty fucking bad, so don't worry about it too much.
Let's bash it. Come on, we did. These fuckers, they don't upload the trailer. It's one of the worst
trailers. What a
trailers.
shit show, dude. Though the show is great, but the trailer is just so badly made.
Is it really? Okay, wow.
Yeah, it just feels so off. Just also the sound design and everything. It just seems so bland and lifeless for some reason.
Is it like an R-rated trailer? Does it give you a feel
so.
of what the show is going to be?
I don't know how far you watch into the second episode. Did you see the aliens?
Yeah.
Yeah, they show a lot of that with like without dialogue at first, and then it like cuts to like big quotes from the movie, but it doesn't really give you a feeling of what the show actually is, you know?
Does the show get funny? I feel like this would be...
Okay.
This has great potential to be funny because the ending of episode 1, I was kind of in between laughter and like shock.
Yeah.
And I feel like this could have been a great R-rated comedy, but I'm guessing it doesn't do that.
It does have quite a few jokes, you know? Yeah, I don't think they're... I think like the more gritty parts of the show are more entertaining like than the jokes. But I think it's good.
Okay.
It's... Yeah. I don't think it's the strongest attribute of that show, but I think it's funny enough.
Yeah. No, I'm just... Yeah. I think it's great, once again. I just feel like it could have... You know, it has potential for more humor than they chose to do, but once again, maybe that's great that it's just one show that really takes itself seriously.
Well, it's hard to talk about because I already forgot what happened in like episode 1 or 2, and I don't want to spoil you, and nobody else, of course.
Right. I mean, yeah, I'm happy. I thought I got one of the 2 predictions right. I knew this was going to be your pick, but I thought the movie would be Love and Monsters. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. I thought about either watching this, Love and Monsters or Save Yourselves, and Love and Monsters just seemed like a movie that I would start and not finish.
I feel exactly the same way, but I've heard so many good things about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really have. And I watched the trailer again, and I'm still like, I don't really want to watch this. But I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, it's got this classic, like, teen protagonists, and they, like, feel like real adults. We're gonna do this. I don't know. I just can't take it seriously. It just seems like, I don't know, like a Maze Runner kind of movie, you know?
Right, I know what you're saying. Well, it's got Dylan O'Brien. He's in Maze Runner, isn't he?
Yeah. I have never seen Maze Runner.
No, I haven't either, but I think he's in it, no?
Sure, yeah.
I actually thought about watching Maze Runner a couple of days ago when I was browsing Netflix. I just wanted something to watch, you know?
Yeah, sure.
What do you know? What I ended up watching to wrap up the show?
Oh, please.
Contagion.
Oh,
I
classic.
rewatched Contagion.
Is it on Netflix?
It's Prime.
Oh,
It's on
sorry.
Prime, and it's just such a masochistic thing to do these days. Is that the
I
right
watched
word?
it at
I
the
think
start
so.
of the pandemic.
Yeah,
I
yeah. So
think.
many people did.
Yeah,
So many people.
That's why
did.
I did. I didn't even know that the movie was like that. I don't know, topical
It is so.
at that point.
You
but yeah.
didn't. You didn't know it when you started watching it, really?
No, I knew of the movie, but I didn't know much about the plot. As far as I knew, it was about zombies. But then I just saw
Gross.
like everybody's watching it during like COVID, and I was like, all right, let's give this a try. And I was like, all right, well, fuck me.
It's insane how accurately it describes COVID. No,
Yeah,
it starts
people
from a
don't die
bat.
like flies.
No,
but,
no. But it starts from a bat in China.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's not get into conspiracy theories where this thing came from now. But
I think isn't it like pretty
Yeah.
much confirmed
I think so.
from an armadillo?
Yeah, but it's just I watched this Contagion for the first time like years and years ago,
Mhm.
thinking like, oh fuck, imagine if that happens, Well, it came out in 2012, like 8 years, or 2011, like 9 years later. You're right, it's not as deadly, the virus now, thank God. But other than that, it's such an accurate portrayal of what is going on in the world right now.
Yeah, I think it's just great when you see how the thing in Contagion got started, and like, oh, dude, that's interesting. I wonder how it actually got around here. I mean, I don't think we should talk about it too much, I guess, because I heard like YouTube kind of frowns upon people talking about COVID. Then again, I think we kind of fly
Does
under
it?
the radar. Apparently, yeah, it
Do
just
they?
doesn't recommend videos as much because they don't want to spread misinformation to whatever.
Interesting.
You see also under every video that kind of talks about it, you see the WHO disclaimer.
Yeah, well, we're just talking about the movie Contagion.
Yeah,
Soderbergh.
of
We're
course.
talking about movies. And I do think this is a really good movie. And the way they wrap it up, the last scene is chilling.
Yeah,
When I watched it
it's
again, I thought
interesting,
it's just really good. Right.
Pressing the movie.
Stacked show.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I had no idea what you were gonna pick, and I guess, yeah, of course, like we said, we're gonna talk about the Marvel thing next week. But if you're gonna pull another thing out of your ass, I'm like, I don't know how you find these things at times.
Well, I mean, sorry. Who how do I say this? Your thing was a more niche pick now than mine. I know it wasn't your pick, but
Saviors, yeah, fair.
Save
enough.
yourselves. You had to reach further in than I did for the two things I picked.
Okay. Well,
last week.
Undoing.
Well, Undoing is a more. I think it's a much more known thing than Save Yourselves.
Maybe. Sorry, you gotta rent Undoing, right?
You do, yes.
Okay.
You do.
Once again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the case with HBO.
Yeah.
Apparently, but it's worth it. It's a good show. Yeah. That's it. Let's see what we got next week. Hopefully, I doubt I can keep up this record of, like, for me at least, finding things that I'm really enjoying. But we'll see. That's it for me. Thanks so much for listening, as always.
Yeah, thank you so much from me as well. If you stayed until the end, thank you so much. That you powered through my rambling and losing my voice. Good on you. And yeah, if you liked it, give it a like, give it a subscribe. You can see or more accurately, hear us on any podcast platforms, be it Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, etc. And you can check us out at Best Thing Radio on Twitter and Instagram. There you can see our thumbnails that Flo designs every week, including on YouTube. It's our thumbnail. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in once again. I think it's a good episode. I had
think
fun.
so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, let them know. Okay, when does a new episode drop of the show? Let them know. When does it drop?
Every Monday, 7 a.m. Central Time. Is that
Central Time
correct?
Makes it sound like we're in the middle of the US, no?
Well, Central. What's our time zone? GM2 -1?
I think
Plus one?
Isn't it +1?
+1, yeah, +1.
GMT, Greenwich,
Global
Greenwich.
measurement,
Isn't
whatever.
it Greenwich measurement?
Yeah, sure.
Isn't
We
it
should
Greenwich?
stop the show before
No. Hold
we
on.
seem too uneducated.
It's Greenwich, no?
Yeah, Greenwich. Sure.
Greenwich Mean Time? Hold
Yeah.
on. No, we're looking this up. I'm not ending this show. GMT time zone. Come on, my God. GMT. It means Greenwich Mean Time Zone. Didn't I say that?
All right. Yeah.
All right.
A+ for you.
Thank you very much. Well, plus GMT plus 1. 7 a.m. GMT plus 1.
Yeah. So I don't know what time that is in, I don't know, Canada.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Look, yeah.
But every Monday morning we drop a new episode. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah. Cook something good.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Japanese curry. Bye-bye.